Hey y'all, this is Cards, Tickets, Tunes, back with my latest round of ticket sales. Got about 19 tickets for you, well, exactly 19 tickets to share with you today. And these are all sales, actual eBay sales within the last 10 days. And I'm going to be partaking in a little Yenling lager here as I have been partaking in it before as I've been prepping, and I might take a few sips as I go along. It's a good Pennsylvania beer, I think. Just recently made available here in the state of Missouri. So encourage you to give that one a taste. So cheers. We're going to start off with football today, and then we are going to move to baseball, and then we're going to do basketball. We don't have any hockey this week. No oddball stuff, but about $450 worth of sales. So pretty good run here in the last 10 days. And I'm going to work in ascending order within each sport. And I'm going to end with the biggest sale, which was a basketball debut ticket at the very end. So here we go. Starting off with a ticket stub from 1977. This is a Jets ticket. Jets played at the Meadowlands, I believe, which would have been against the Giants. And the way that I marketed this one was that it was a Joe Klecko rookie season ticket, and it's actually his first game in New York. Not at Shea Stadium, but in New York City, which was against the Giants. So a Hall of Famer debuting in the Big Apple is a big deal for anyone, but especially if it happens to be a Jets player. And Klecko just went recently into the Hall of Fame, so that made it a little bit more of a hot commodity. Nice vintage advertisement on the back there of Hess Gasoline Station. Next, we have a San Francisco 49ers ticket. This was during the heyday of the 49ers dynasty. Jerry Rice, I believe, had a couple touchdowns in this game. Joe Montana, and I believe Steve Young all played in the game. So three great 49er players. The 87 season, I think it may have been a Super Bowl season, but I'm not exactly sure. Of course, Super Bowl seasons are a little more collectible. It's got a nice looking Rams helmet there. California rival on the ticket as well. And just some boring information about ticket sales and seating on the back there with the signature of the probably club president or something like that, which if you're having a hard time dating the ticket, which in this case you don't have to worry about that because the date is on there, that information on the back can be very valuable. For example, if it's a club president that has the facsimile of the signature, then you look up the years that person was club president and cross-reference it with the games that they would have played the Rams at home, and you can usually get pretty close to the actual date. This ticket sold for $20. Nice looking ticket. Doesn't really have any creasing to speak of. Nice print, not blurred or anything like that. So yeah, $20. That's a good price for that ticket. Next ticket is a Vikings, you can barely make it out there, Giants ticket. It is it's actually a game played at Giants Stadium, as you can see there. And this game, did a little research on it and found out that it was the game that they retired Lawrence Taylor's jersey number. And people like to collect those. So all sports, they'll usually have like a ceremony, and the player will come, and they'll make a big to-do of that player's career. And it's very nostalgic for fans of the player and the team. So that's always a good angle to take when you're selling a ticket. Just do your research on newspapers.com, and it'll oftentimes be the very first thing. And then after a while, you kind of get to where you recognize the ticket, and you're like, oh wow, Vikings, 1994. I think that may have been LT's jersey retirement game. So that one sold for $25. All right, so ticket normally like this might sell for $5 to $10, but something special like that bumps it up. Next ticket is also a Vikings ticket, but this game was played at Lambeau Field. And it's notable because it was Brett Favre's first game in a Packers uniform. Of course, he played his first season in Atlanta as a part of the Falcons, and then he got traded and didn't start immediately. Actually didn't play in the game. It was a DNP, as we say, but he was on the sideline and probably holding the clipboard and had the headphones on and was helping with the plays and everything like that. So it's pretty cool to think that this was the very beginning of what became a legendary run on the Green Bay Packers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And of course, he went on to play for the Vikings as well. So that's kind of cool. This ticket sold for $30. $30. Pretty good for a game that Brett Favre didn't actually play in, but that you market as a Brett Favre game. And on the back, you have an advertisement for Old Style beer, which reminds me, Yenling Traditional Lager. More Packers tickets to share here. For some reason, I sold a bunch of football. NFL draft is starting to heat up, and rankings and things like that. Football's year-round these days. But all right, here's a 1999 ticket. Brett Favre played in this game. I think he threw for over 300 yards, had a couple touchdowns. Played the Lions. Unfortunately, this was the season after Barry retired, so it's not a Barry game. That would have bumped up the price pretty good. But this one, I think, sold for $15. Advertisement on the back. Actually sold this one as a part of a lot. Sold this one, and I sold this one, which was, I believe it was Reggie White's first sack as a Green Bay Packer against his former team, the Eagles. So that was kind of an interesting angle. That one went for around $15 as well. Really cool design there with the 75th anniversary and the Eagles helmet. And again, the old style beer advertisement on the back. So those two, and then this one, more expensive of the three tickets. All three sold for about $50. This one went for around $25. And this is a NFC championship game, NFC playoff game. Sorry, it says that playoff game. Nice little silver kind of foil there on the ticket. And this was the season that the Packers won the Super Bowl. And so it was during that playoff run, which makes it more collectible. And it doesn't say anywhere on the ticket. We've talked about this before. You have to really just look at the ticket design. Sometimes you can figure out the year. You can look at the stuff on the back, look at completed listings on eBay, look at current items that are selling. And I may have mentioned this before. There's a function in eBay called Terapeak, which allows you to search for completed and sold items for up to 2 years in the past. So you have to do a little digging around the site, but it's well worth your time to do that. You can also do a Google search, or if you use the little camera function, if you're in eBay and you're searching for something, at the very top of the search box is a little camera. Click that camera and then take a picture of the ticket, and it will use AI to try to identify elements of design and things like that, and might find the exact ticket for sale on eBay. So this was a 1997 NFC playoff ticket, which I think was actually the 96 season, and that playoff game would have been played in January of 97, if I remember correctly. So that's another little tricky thing. So sometimes it'll say 97 playoff ticket, but the actual game will be played in the 98 year because it's the 97 season. So something you got to look out for when you're researching NFL playoff tickets. Again, best to just look at stuff that's sold and let other people do the legwork for you. So that was $50 for those three tickets. All right, now we're going to move on to baseball. Baseball is heating up as spring training is coming to a close, and so sold quite a few baseball tickets, some interesting ones. Nothing super high dollar, but pretty good volume for this time of year. I'm going to start with a 1974 ticket stub. This is a Tigers versus Royals, and I think George Brett may have played in the game. I don't think he got a hit. This was more notable because it was Al Kaline's last season, and also Willie Horton had his 700th RBI. We've talked about this in the past, round numbers. People like round numbers when they're collecting a player. Willie Horton, his 100th RBI, his first RBI, his 100th RBI, his 200th RBI, so on and so forth. That one sold, it's got a hole there. It got stamped when they were probably entering the season, just clipped it, entering the stadium. This one went for, I think, $15. Not a bad price. Here's a ticket from 1977. Yankees went to the World Series and won, I think, against the Dodgers that year. And that was the year also that Reggie Jackson had his 4 consecutive home runs. 3, I think, in Game 5, and then I think it was a home run at the end of Game 5, and then 3 in Game 6, if I'm remembering correctly. But this was a home run that he hit during that season, and I think it was his 299th home run, which I always feel like you can get a little bit extra for $299. 300, of course, it would bump it up quite a bit, maybe like $100 ticket if it was his 300th home run. But $299 is better than $298, put it that way, and it's kind of a cool number. So this ticket sold for $15. It does have a little bit of paper loss on the back there. A lot of times you'll see that on tickets. People put tape and stick it in a scrapbook or something like that, and so people will tear them out and then put them for sale in a lot on eBay, something like that. Really cool design. Classic Yankees ticket with the date and the logo there as well. Moving on, this is an Indians Brewers ticket. This is 1979, notable because Robin Yount hit a home run. It is his 33rd home run. Some people like to collect home run tickets of Hall of Famers, and obviously it's nice to collect home run tickets for the 500 home run hitters or the 600 home run hitters, but sometimes it can be a little bit more manageable to try to collect all the home runs for Paul Molitor, or Ozzie Smith or something like that, because it's easier to do. So it's got the nice logo there, the Indian, and it says on there that it's a double header. So, all right, that was $10. Nothing fancy there. Adds up though, right? Here's a Mets ticket against the Cubs in 1983. This was during Ryne Sandberg's rookie season. Ryne Sandberg did have 3 hits in this game. It's not his Shea Stadium debut, but it is a beautiful design with the Mets logo. And it's, say Cubs? Yeah, it says Chicago right there. And yeah, rookie season tickets always get a little bit of a bump as well. This one went for $15. Information on the back, just kind of standard legalese about terms and conditions during the game. It was interesting to kind of look at the price too right here. It sold for $7. You go see a game for $7, and it was in the mezzanine, so it's a pretty good seat. Here we have a Bo Jackson ticket. Bo Jackson, I think he may have had a hit in this game. Nothing fancy, not a home run or anything like that. George Brett and Cal Ripken all played in the game as well. So not exactly sure what this person was collecting. If it was a run, sometimes it can be like their birthday. It could be, I went to see this game with my grandpa. It could be, I knew the person that sang the national anthem. It could be, any number of things why people are collecting tickets. And, of course, prime candidate for this one, too, is a Ripken streak ticket. So I heard just the other day, there's a guy collecting all of the Ripken streak tickets, and I think he's like maybe 3 tickets short or something like that. So he's putting word out on Boogers and just texting people trying to find those 3 tickets. And I think they're just random tickets too, not like his debut or anything like that, nothing fancy. So I don't know if you got some tickets, Orioles tickets lying around, and you want to throw them a bone, maybe you check out Boogers. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but if you're really interested in tickets, you should check out Boogers on Facebook. It's kind of it's the go-to place on social media for people who are into ticket collecting, and a lot of interesting conversations take place there, and people put stuff up for sale, and people are putting word out if they're trying to put together runs, things like that. Maybe if there's a ticket event or something like that, you can find out about it on Boogers. That's Boogers. Boogers tickets. All right, 2 more baseball tickets before we get into basketball. This is a Mariners Brewers ticket, obviously, 1993, which puts it right in prime Ken Griffey territory. I think in this game he had a couple doubles, so not bad. I always look for like outfield assists when that's one thing sometimes people don't look for in the box score. It doesn't show up in the traditional box score. You got to scroll down a little bit further on Baseball Reference and look for outfield assists. But Ken Griffey had a lot of famous catches in his career, and those tickets can get a premium as well. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that don't just check the offensive stats, check the defensive stats, and do your research and read up on newspapers.com about the game. There's all kinds of funny stuff that happens during these games that can make them super valuable. And we're learning stuff all the time. And then once one person does it and discovers it and bumps the ticket up to $150 or $200 or $500, then everyone else rushes to their ticket stash and pulls the same ticket out and sends it into PSA, and everyone benefits. So your homework. Nothing fancy in this game. Really cool logos there. Love this ticket design. $10 ticket. In the back, this looks like there's a little bit of writing. You got to pay attention to this. If you get into selling stuff, make sure you let people know there is writing on the back, because people obviously don't like that too much. Most people don't care too much, especially if it's like a $10 ticket. But if you're going to send it in to get graded, then you definitely want to know there's writing on the back. But not uncommon for people to write stuff on the back like, went to this game with my dad, or caught a foul ball, or maybe they're holding the ticket for someone who's going to pick it up at the ticket desk or something like that. So yeah, watch out for writing on the back. All right, this is the best baseball ticket that I sold over the last 10 days. It's a full ticket, as you can see. Beautiful design, gorgeous condition, unused. And in addition to that, it's a Tom Seaver win, complete game shutout. And his stuff has been heating up lately. And good looking back, no writing, anything like that. Sold this one for $30. Maybe could have held out. It wasn't like a 3,000th strikeout or a 200th win or no hit or anything like that. So it wasn't really worth sending in to get graded. However, I feel like if I'd have been a little more patient, I might have got 40 to 50 for this one. But hey, $30, bought it in a lot, probably for like $1 or something. So happy with that sale, $30. By the way, I haven't talked about this before. Shipping these when you sell them on eBay. Generally, one that's big like this and in really nice condition, you would want to make sure it doesn't get bent. So you might want to put this one in a bubble mailer, put it in a top loader, maybe 2 top loaders, or maybe a smaller, like, I'll show you what I do actually, now that I'm thinking about it. This works really well. I'll take like a small card saver, like that, and then I will put the ticket in the small one, like so, and you can see how it sticks a little higher up. And then I'll take a larger semi-rigid one, the one that you send in for grading, and then I'll put it inside that one, right? So you do like so, and then bada boom, bada bing. Now it's completely covered, right? It's not gonna, if I have to tape it to make sure it doesn't move or anything like that, or tape it to a piece of cardboard, it's not gonna obviously get the tape stuck to the paper and then tear off or anything like that. So that's a good little system. You can buy plastics that are bigger as well. It's a little more expensive, and this way you can recycle stuff that you buy in the mail, old plastics you have lying around. So that's a nice little system. And, if it's under $20, sometimes $30, depending upon the condition, you can just pop it in an envelope and just put a stamp on it. And that's just as reliable as putting it in a bubble mailer and sending it with tracking, in my opinion. Of course, people like the tracking, so you got to kind of use your best judgment. But I send a lot of stuff just in a plain white envelope with a stamp, and doesn't cost that much. All right, let's move on to basketball. All right, we're going to start with this ABA ticket. This is the Kentucky Colonels. I am of the opinion that ABA tickets are undervalued and that we're going to see a real spike in their value at some point. Obviously, those games weren't as well attended. There aren't as many of them available. Right now, there isn't quite the demand because there's just not a lot of knowledge about some of those games and some of those players. There wasn't a lot of televised games, and like I said, the attendance is low. But I feel like as we move further into the future, we're gonna see the prices in these really spike. But Kentucky Colonels were a perennial powerhouse in the ABA. Artis Gilmore, Louis Dampier. There's one other guy. I forget his name, but those are their kind of two stars. And Issel, Dan Issel. Did he play for the Colonels? He played for the Nuggets. May have started out with the Colonels. Anyways, yeah, this is a cool ticket, and I think Artis Gilmore had 30 points and I don't know 16 rebounds or 20 rebounds. His rebounding stats are kind of crazy sometimes. This one sold for $15. So this game was played in Louisville at Freedom Hall, which is also where the Cardinals play. Nice ticket. All right, next, this is an NBA ticket, kind of from the same era. This is a Bucks ticket, and it was Bucks versus the Jazz, I believe. Yeah, you can see New Orleans Jazz. You can see the NE there. And if you know anything about the NBA during that period, New Orleans Jazz in the 75 is this? No, 70, 78, yeah. You think Pistol Pete. So Pistol Pete played in this game, 36 points, I don't know, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, something like that. Always had good stats, and fan favorite as well. And so this one sold for $25. Pistol Pete. Certain players always get a premium. Pistol Pete, Kareem, obviously. You got your Jordan and Magic and Bird and things like that. But there are other kind of pockets of fan favorites that you'll want to make sure that you include in the title. And they're not always Hall of Famers as well. So pay attention to that and make sure you spend a little extra time using all 80 characters that you have available to you in the title of the ticket. Don't try and just put the date in the two teams. Like, fill it up with the players and maybe some of their stats, and especially if they had like a triple-double or something like that. Next, we have a Pistons ticket, Pistons Wizards. This is kind of an interesting angle I found with this one. I've sold a couple of these, actually. This is Ben Wallace's debut at the Palace. Now, his rookie season, he was with the Wizards, but this is he's obviously most well known as a Detroit Piston, won a championship with the Pistons and several defensive player of the years, defensive player of the year awards, and this is his first game at the Palace, so it's his Palace quote-unquote debut. And I sold this one for, I think, $16, $17. I sold another one for like 40 or 50, so I think I may have priced this one a little too low, or sometimes I kind of lower stuff if it sits there for a while and maybe didn't realize that was a Ben Wallace Palace debut. So someone got a good deal on that one. Two more. This is a Sacramento Kings ticket. It's against the Hawks. No, it's Kings and Clippers, sorry. And this was Spud Webb's first game as a Sacramento King. So it's his Sacramento Kings debut. This is more important for some players than others. For example, Dennis Johnson played for, I believe, the Supersonics for his first couple years, and then he switched over to the Boston Celtics. Well, his first game at the Garden as a Celtic is his Celtic debut, and that can be potentially as valuable as his NBA debut because he's just an iconic player for a dynasty franchise. And so his debut in the green Boston Celtic uniform is perhaps more desirable than his debut as a Supersonic. all right? Um, maybe that's not the best example because his debut I'm pretty sure would be worth more, but I've actually sold his Boston Celtic debut for like $100, and that's a pretty good price for a debut, a non like NBA debut, right? So yeah, pay attention to those things. If you're using Basketball Reference and you're sorting the roster by season and you only check the rookies, you're missing out on debuts of other types of debuts. So this one sold for $15. So not a huge price, but it's that little extra detail sometimes that makes the big difference in a sale. And you have to catch people's eye. You have to kind of direct them to why they need this ticket, why they want this ticket, and you're doing the work, and that's why you're getting the premium for the ticket. All right, lastly, I'm going to share with you an actual debut ticket. And I think this is the only one of the batch that I had that's an actual debut. Let's see if you can maybe make a few guesses here before I say it. This is 1986. It's the Nets versus the Knicks. Nets versus the Knicks. Anytime you see an late October date on an NBA ticket, then you need to think, okay, this, your heart starts beating a little bit faster, and you think, oh, this could be a debut. And you go to Basketball Reference and you check the roster, and you're like, oh, who is this? And so Nets, Knicks. Now it's not Patrick Ewing. That would have been 85, I believe, his debut. But there was another fan favorite who debuted on the Knicks the year after that, played for the Kentucky Wildcats, and had a nickname, very famous nickname, won a dunk competition. His name was Kenny Skywalker. Kenny Skywalker, kind of a little Star Wars pun. And had a really good career, not a Hall of Fame career, but a very popular player, and played in the Garden, and that makes it even more valuable, that venue. So people collect MSG debuts. So this is an NBA debut and an MSG debut because he played for the Knicks. And this ticket sold for $150. $150. Borderline about whether or not should have graded this one. I don't know that the PSA stamp would have added a whole lot to this. I feel like $150 is a good price. Also, keep in mind, a lot of people like to get debut tickets signed. So this is going to look really good with a Kenny Skywalker signature on it. And then you can send that in and have that slabbed. And, a debut ticket signed. Now you're looking at like perhaps $500. All right. All right. Well, I appreciate you paying attention and joining me on this journey. Like I said, that was 19 tickets sold for a total of $450. If you want to see more tickets, please visit my eBay store at cards_tickets_tunes. Feel free to email me at cards.tickets.tunes@gmail.com. And as always, happy hunting, and hope you score some good finds on eBay, and get out there and list it and do your research, and just engage. Check out Boogers, like I said. I think you'll learn a lot that way. So, all right, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.